All right, you guys, who doesn't love a good crooked grind? Well, people who don't skate or who can't do them. But anyways, yeah, let's get to the bottom of this. Who invented the crooked grind? So many of you have probably heard to the crooked grind referred to as the K grind, and it's often credited to Eric Costin. That's why it's called the K grind. But if you do a little more digging, you'll find even Costin himself actually credits the crooked grind to Dan Paterka. So let's go a little bit back in time first and check out Eric Costin's grinds in H Street, the Next Generation. So clearly he's got a nice long locked in one on this red curb, and he pops over, transfers over. And then in another line, he's got a nice crooked grind at the end of the line where he locks in and pops out in the middle of the ledge. So those are very clearly some crooked grinds. Yeah, it was actually Dan Paterka, he says, who he was skating with a lot at the time. But you know, as with any skateboard trick, a lot of the time there could be hundreds of people learning them at the same time in different parts of the planet. But these guys being in Southern California got the exposure in the magazines and videos, so they get the credit. Now, if you watch most of his clips, so most of his crooked grinds are actually transfers over. So that's how it was invented. It was an easier way to transfer over than a nose slide nose blunt. So almost all of them, with only a few exceptions, are crooked grind transfers over. Although that half cab crook that he does on that sort of skinny ledge, that one's pretty rad. And you can even see he takes the classic wheels over the ledge while he's probably trying to crooked grind this bench here. So yeah, a lot of really good examples. Dan Paterka was a smooth operator. Guys, I highly recommend you check out H Street, the Next Generation. Came out around the same time as Plan B Questionable, same era, 1992. Costin has an amazing part in it, and there's Alfonso Brawls has a part in it, and there's a bunch of other guys that you probably haven't heard of. Now there's one other really notable crooked grind that we need to point out here, and it may have even been before them because the board looks bigger wheels, but who knows, that could have been just what he's riding. But Wade Spire does a crook down hubba way back in the day. So at the time, crooked grinds were not a refined trick, and he probably wasn't going for a nice pinched crook like he got. Apparently, from what I've read in the past, he was going for a nose grind or a nose bonk. It really wasn't, you know, refined. But if we take a look at this a little bit slower, we can clearly see he's getting some pinch. So yeah, that is definitely one of the earliest documented crooked grinds, and it is a gnarly one at that. Now I dug through a lot of videos trying to find examples of crooked grinds, but around 1992, there wasn't a whole lot of straight crooked grinds. You know, there was a lot of these wacky crooks, like Questionable was full of them, all these crazy transfers, crook to 5-0 to nose slide to crook, like all that stuff. But you can see by how, you know, Carroll's getting into these that clearly he's probably already done crooked grinds and they're just moving on to the more complicated things. So another notable crooked grind of the time, again, this is 1992 from Blind Tim and Henry's promo. Definitely check out that one. What is it? Pack of Lies, the Tim and Henry promo. You guys have to watch that. That is skate history for sure. But Henry Sanchez has some smooth switch crooks. So going nice and fast on some chunky ledges, and you can see that he's powering through some switch crooks on those. Definite pinch and pop out there way back in 1992. And we got a couple more notable ones. We got Chico Brenes doing this crook sort of spinny twirly crook gazelle. And we got Shiloh Greathouse with a half cab crook. Now, let's get on to frontside crooks. I'm not going to spend much time on frontside crooks in this video, but the earliest one that I have seen, now it may have been done on smaller curbs, but the earliest one that I can remember is Spencer Fujimoto plowing through some crust on a nice front crook here with some teeny tiny baby wheels out to fakie. So I was always pretty impressed with that one. It must have felt good. And he's got it from apparently a couple different angles. Okay, post 92, you can see that the crooked grind is established and people are now starting to do some legit variations. Virtual reality is a pretty good place to find a few of them, but they're still not a staple. You're not seeing them everywhere. Now, I do also want to point out that Colin McKay was taking them to vert at this time, and you know, that's pretty gnarly to be doing street tricks on a vert ramp. All right, and in honor of crooked grinds, I decided to do a mostly crooked grind montage with a few other things sprinkled in here and there. And there was the little crooked grind montage. Okay, so we still have some unfinished business. Last week's winner, what is my favorite 360 flip? So yes, it is Chris Markovich's 360 flip off of this massive curb cut. But the only thing more massive than that curb cut is the 360 flip he did off of it. That is enormous. Like, I can't imagine going that fast and launching myself like that. The thing you guys got to realize is, like, this was 1994. Nobody was going that fast and going that high. Like, Markovich was a madman. You watch his part in Fight Fire with Fire, it is absolutely the standout part in that video. He's going way bigger and way faster than anybody there. It's also peppered with Vancouver spots, which I love. A lot of skate videos actually back in those times were littered with Vancouver skate spots, as Vancouver was littered with local and pros from California. But anyways, we better get to the draw. So last week, the Venture lows, those went. Let's take a quick look at what's left. All right, so what do we got? We got the Indy Standard 149s, Indy Standard 139s, Indy Standard mids, because they only come in standard, Venture hollows, Venture 5.0 hollows, Venture High 5.2. So hopefully you've made your decision, and now, what is it this week? What's it gonna be? Okay. Who is my inspiration for switch frontside heel flips? I watched this part over and over, and just the way he did them and how many of them he did made me want to learn that trick more than anybody else did. So the winner gets to pick a set of trucks from the rack, and we can watch them slowly disappear. And that brings the video to an end. Hopefully you know the joy of crooked grinds. I hit axle on my Ventures, but I've decided to flip them around because the back truck was still in really good condition. So we're gonna plow through both sides of those trucks before I switch to anything else, and I'm still really enjoying the setup. So, except actually I broke the Paul Rodriguez. I snapped the tail on a crook here. You can hear it. That's the first board I broke in 2 years. It happens so rarely. And I would not say it was the strength of the board. I was just like landing hard on those crooked grinds. Anyways, I'm babbling. The video's over. We have other things to do. I'm sure you do, I do. I gotta edit this video or there's gonna be nothing to watch tomorrow morning. Actually, I'm probably gonna post it at 5 tonight, because that way, see, I'm posting them, I'm staggering the posting times, you guys. We do 5 in the morning Pacific time, and then we do 5 p.m. Pacific time, and that 12-hour stagger should hopefully give everyone around the world an opportunity. I'm gonna go. We're done here.
How did that even happen?
I don't know.
Oh.